next time.
Your values, what you want out of you, or have this, but you don't even know.
When you think of your life, of your dreams, of your vision, and your values, what do you actually want? Like, do you actually know what you want for you? Or is it just a fantasy or a facade of thinking, well, it'd be nice if I had this, but you don't even know and have a clue of what you actually want? If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist turned abuse recovery coach to help you actually break free from the toxic relationship that you're in and help reclaim your life, rediscover who you are, and move towards your future. Inside of this piece of talking through what do you actually want, most people don't have a clue. They oftentimes have a clue of what they do want, and in the aspect of like, hey, I don't want to be in this. You see what I did? Most of the time people know what they do want by defining what they don't want. So think of it for a moment. When you look at your relationship right now, what do you not want? You might start to have a list of different things that you don't want for you, that you don't want inside of your relationship, inside of the toxicity, inside of the frustration, the anxiety, the stress. There's probably a giant list that you could sit down and start writing of things that you don't want. Because it's important to be able to see what do you actually not want in your life so that you don't keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. But then we have to get to a place and start thinking through, what is it that you do want? What do you actually want for you in your life here today? This is one of the hardest questions. One of the hardest pieces that people struggle with of getting really crystal clear of what you actually want. For me, I didn't have a clue for the longest time of what I wanted. I kept chasing every single woman that I saw because all I wanted was just to be with other people. This is why I cheated on my wife. I wanted what I wanted in the moment. I was just filling up this like carnal desire of let me just get what I want, get validation, appreciation from other women to try to fill up a hole in my life. But no matter how much I would fill up that hole, no matter how much I would try, it would never get filled. There's nothing I could ever do to make it feel better, to make it seem deeper, to make it actually feel whole. So I kept looking and kept looking, kept looking, not realizing that the whole time it was exactly in front of me, with my wife, with my family, with the actual things that I had in my life. I hadn't looked at it because I didn't care, and I'd only focused on myself for such a long period of time. This is what a narcissist does. He focuses on himself. Now, all of the cheating and all of the things that happened in our relationship happened for a reason. To get me to a place where I would wake up and actually see this is not what I want. I don't want to keep having the same cycle with these same people over and over. I don't want to have this abuse that's happening in my life to my family. I don't want to have these things that are going on. I don't want these things that I'm doing, of how I'm showing up, of how I'm not showing up. I didn't want that anymore. And I realized the only way that I could actually break that cycle was to define what I don't want and to get very clear on what I do want. So one of the things I do every single year, and then I also work on it monthly, is I start establishing targets of what I actually want for the year. And I lay these out across body, being, balance, and business. Lay them out of like, what do I want physically? What do I want spiritually? What do I want relationship-wise? And what do I want business and money-wise? And in doing this, it starts to laser focus me on not just what I want, but then a path and a plan to actually move forward. So in setting up these, we call them impossible games, and setting up this idea of these goal settings, it's more than just coming up with just random goals. Like, this is what I want, this would be great. It's first establishing where you actually at. Like, what's currently happening now, what's currently working, not working in your life, what's wrong right now. And oftentimes this is coming up with that list first of what you don't want, the things that you don't actually want in your life, so you can get clear on what you actually want. And then getting clear on what you actually want is starting to script it out and say, okay, if this is what I want, what does this actually look like? An important piece here that is very, very hard for me to do is to try to attach feelings to it. Because feelings oftentimes are pulling from a soul level, from a connected or a divine level. And feelings oftentimes are this piece that's actually saying and telling you, hey, this is the direction you need to go. Not your thoughts, but your feelings. And when I'm talking about the feelings, I'm talking about like this deep soul desire of this is what I know I'm supposed to do. It's not like you have this knowingness based on numbers. You have this knowingness based on how you feel. Like, yeah, this is right. Sometimes when I talk to new clients, it's a piece where they get on a call and they're like, I just knew I needed to talk to you. Like, when you spoke, you just resonated and I just knew I needed to talk to them. There's a piece inside of them that like echoes from a soul level of like knowingness. They know they need to do something and then they acted upon it. And so inside this piece of getting clear of what you actually want, I work with clients, we set it up in 3 different ways. The first way is just trying to establish some of those goals. What do they actually look like, and get all of your ideas down on paper of what would be reasonable. What would be like a logical progression inside your life with some of the things that you have right now and with some of the things that you want? What would just be that next step? Next thing you have to do. And then we step it up into radical. And radical is, if you think of it from like a number standpoint, it'd be like 5x. Be like, okay, how do I multiply some of these goals by 5 times? How do I stretch them a little bit more? How do I push harder of like, hey, if there was a way I could like push and I could hit this goal, like I know it would be possible, but it would be difficult. And then we step back and we set up the impossible. And the impossible is the 10x idea. 10x is easier than 2x. And inside of this, we start scripting out what does that actually look like across all 4 domains: body, being, balance, and business. When this is happening, it becomes a very huge pull and a drive. Now, the difference this year inside of setting up my impossible games and working through some of this has been sitting back and trying to attach the feelings. The feelings of what it'll actually be when I feel completely free and open and being able to be flirty and have a great time with my wife. We have a great time already. But being able to take that to the next level where we feel passionate and connected and able to actually just like be flirty and silly and giggle, like those kind of things, that's what I'm working for this year. How do I continue to unlock who I am inside of body? Well, there's a version of me that's 182 pounds and that has 10% body fat. That's one of the goals that I'm going for. It's not just a goal of like, oh, I'm going to get to this someday. It's no, I am that. That's who I am, and I'm going to uncover that one step at a time. There's all different types of goals that you need to set, but it really comes down to what are the most important ones? What are the ones that resonate deep down in your soul? So we went through an exercise the other day inside of setting up some of these goals. And part of the exercise was trying to sit with the feelings, how they actually feel. And we walk through a guided meditation, like stepping into different doors of body, being, balance, and business, and stepping into those and seeing, how does this feel? How does this look? How does this seem? Because the goal inside of it is trying to be able to extrapolate a bigger vision than what you can have. A bigger vision of what it feels or what it looks like long term. Many of you right now might be stuck in a toxic relationship where you can't even see tomorrow. You're just trying to figure out how to survive today. This is why we have to get clear of what you don't want so we can figure out what you want. Then from there we can start to figure out what do you actually desire, what's actually pulling you even further and farther than just what you want. And then from there, we have to start establishing who you actually are. Who the person you actually are that right now you're currently not experiencing, but we're trying to unlock. That's that piece of setting up an impossible goal, but to put feelings and divine connection behind it. This game of starting to move forward of impossible games has been a process that I've played several times. It's been one of the pieces that has helped keep me on track. Mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, relationship-wise, keep on track over the past couple of years. And I know it can do the same for you. If you're in this place where you're thinking through, I wish I had some focus, I wish I had some goals, I wish I had something pulling me forward, then I want you to reach out. Then there's going to be a different call to action than normal because I want you specifically to email me. And email me at ben@rawmotivations.com. Just let me know that you watched this video and you're like, hey, I want to know more about this and I want to figure out how can I actually plan out my life with purpose, with intention. So I'm no longer living in survival mode. I'm no longer just moving through and doing the motions, but I'm actually taking steps every single day towards my actual goal, what I actually want. And how that feels when I get there is going to be amazing. Most people don't have goals. Most people don't set goals. Most people don't write down goals. Most people don't write down and communicate goals. Most people don't write down, communicate, or track goals, which is why a lot of times people don't get what they want. It's not that hard to actually get what you want. Surprisingly, it's not. What's hard is the discipline and the consistency that it takes to get there. Most people won't do it because they get bored. They're like, this isn't exciting, this isn't super fun, so I'm just gonna stop. What I want you to consider and what I want you to think through today is, what do you not want? What do you not want in your life? What's that look like relationship-wise? What's that look like physically? What's that look like not just relationship with others, but relationship with God? What's that look like inside of business? How's that look to the people that you run inside of business, or the things you do, or the sales that you have, whatever it is? What do you not want? And then get clear of what you actually want. Every single month, we come together as a group and as a tribe inside of Raw Motivations, setting up our next goal for the next month to move us closer to where we're going for the entire year. It's a process and a plan every single month of trying to unlock the direction we're going. Now, consider for a moment, you might already have some great planning tools and ideas, but I guarantee you some of those plans and tools and ideas probably only fit in 1 or 2 domains. You might be great inside of running your business, You might be a powerful producer in what you do, but on the backside, you're like, I don't even know who I am when it comes to relationships. We're going to get you clear. Maybe you're at a place where you're like, hey, I am clear inside of my spirituality. I have a connection with God because God actually got me through all this toxicity, but your body's falling apart. We can get you clear. Because the goal inside of this is the overwhelm that you feel about life right now is all from a place of confusion. Once we breathe clarity into your life and get you direction, here's the next step, here's the next step, here's the next step, all the overwhelm disappears. And then we see people that the only challenge is just showing up consistently, having discipline. Once we see that, massive results happen across all areas. I work with a lot of women that are driven inside of business because they have a lot of energy and a lot of focus to get things done. And if they see a list and they see a plan, they can accomplish it. If you're wired like that and you want help with this, reach out, just shoot me an email at ben@rawmotivations.com. Let me know you saw this video. Let's have a conversation, help move you forward. You have a blessed and wonderful day. We'll see y'all next time.